Yeah, sure. No worries. Okay. I'll speak to you then. Bye. Hi. So I suppose you've all heard of Evolve at Typo Station. So let me introduce you to a mother and son, Laura and Callan ODonnell. Callan participated in our program in 2007 and he's now part of our 2-year follow-up support program at Evolve. At Evolve, in the 2-year follow-up support program, we work with both the young men and their families. So it's important that we talk about both Laura and Callan. Now here is a nice photo of both Laura and Callan. Isn't it beautiful? So just looking at the photo, you wouldn't know about what Laura and Callan have been through, would you? So instead of just me ranting on about the story, because who wants to listen to me talk, I'm going to let you have a listen to what Laura has to say about her own story.
We came from Sydney in year 2000, moving into a small country town in Victoria. We knew no one, knew where nothing was, and had no idea what life was going to be like once we got here. Callan was always a different child. He didn't seem to fit in with the ordinary things that other kids do. He was always getting himself into situations that were, well, difficult.
I first met Callan ODonnell a bit over 2 years ago now, and he came to the Evolve office for his interview for the program, and I got to know Callan as a young fella who was pretty keen to make some changes. Callan's a pretty big fella, so he hasn't really grown much physically since then, but I've really seen him mature as a young man. He's someone who's started to really take ownership for his own decisions and take responsibility for things in his life and really start to look at some positive changes that he wants for the future. I quite often talk to Callan and sort of say to him, where are you headed, Cal? What do you want to do in the future? And he quite often says to me, I reckon I can do whatever I want to do, and I have to agree with that now, but there probably was a time where Callan certainly wasn't quite as sure about where he was going and what he was capable of, and people in his family and community probably also weren't quite sure about what was going to happen for Callan next.
Callan didn't have many friends at school, and I was continually getting, there's a problem at the school calls. As he got older, the problems got worse. Don't get me wrong, he was a lovely little boy if you could super glue him to you or satin at him or something like that. When Callan got to high school, I made sure that I let them know what they were in for, but it didn't help. Year 7 was difficult, but I managed. Year 8 wasn't too bad. Although I'd heard about the hell years, nothing could have prepared me for year 9. I suppose I'd been lulled into a false sense of security, having had one son who just seemed to coast on through things at the same high school. Once Callan was in year 9, our whole world turned upside down.
So this is where Evolve steps in, and it's working with guys like Callan ODonnell who have reached a point in their life and they've realised they need to make some changes. And we offer an early intervention program for voluntary young men who come to the program and spend 5 weeks up at our program, Typo Station. So I've got a few little photos here of Typo, what it looks like. The boys come up here for 5 weeks, but this isn't where they're from. So after they spend the 5 weeks in the bush, we work with them for a couple of years out in their community context. And what we try to do there is what they've worked on in the bush, the positive things they've done, the sense of achievement and the positive self-esteem. We try and work with that and help carry that positive self-esteem and energy back to the community and set goals for making some positive changes.
Finally realising just how far I was willing to go to save my son and his future, the lifeline that I've been trying to grab onto for years was finally placed in my hands. Have you heard of a program called Typo Station? Those 9 words changed all of our lives.
So this job's all about the stories of our young men, and what we love to do is be part of those stories and hear those stories about the young men and what they've done and where they're heading towards in the future.
The change in Callan that has taken place could not be more dramatic if somebody had scripted it. It's like polar opposites. Without Typo, Callan would probably have been one of those kids who fell through the cracks and ended up career crims in and out of jail. Now he has a future, a plan for his life that would never have been possible without this amazing, amazing program.
So, there you have it. This is what can happen for young fellas that come to Typo Station, a place where you might come with a story of things not going so well, and then over time make some really positive changes and move forward in life, and that's what we do here, and that's what we're all a part of. So It's a good place in Typo, place like Typo. We're all pretty proud of what we do here.
Now 1.5 years on, I've turned my life around completely. I'm no longer in trouble at school, and I'm in Year 12. I'm no longer in trouble with the police, and I no longer hang around the group of people that encourage the actions that got me into the trouble in the first place.
So now, I'm sure you know who we are and what we do at Evolve at Typo Station.
Not only did everyone else want me to change it, most importantly I wanted to change myself. Each of the guys' stories were unique, but we all came from a different place and we all had one goal to change who we were.